3, Second Term, Science, Chapter 15, Transmission of Sound. From this lesson, we are going to learn about how is sound produced, how does sound reach to our ears, how we measure the speed of sound. So, how is sound produced? We can generate sound by doing various methods. We can make loud and soft sound as well as high and low sounds. From the drum, we can make loud sounds. From the guitar, we can make soft sounds. Have you noticed any sounds which occur when vibrating objects? When we are stretching a wire or when we are playing with guitar, violin or sitar, we can hear a sound. We can hear that sound because of the vibrations. So, sound is produced when materials or objects vibrate through a medium. This medium may be a solid, liquid or a gas. How does the sound travel to our ears? So, from the previous slides, we learned that sound is generated due to the vibrations. When objects and materials are vibrating, what happens? Sound waves are produced. So, the sound waves travels to our ears through these. So, look at the picture below. When someone is playing a guitar, sound is generated through the vibrations. So, we can hear that sound because of the sound waves. What are these sound waves? When material or object vibrates, the particles next to it are also begin to vibrate. That means they are moving back and forth very quickly. Then the particles near the source of sound do compressions and rarefactions. So, we will look at what are those compressions and rarefactions. Compressions are the areas where particles are closer to each other. Rarefactions are the areas where air particles are further apart. So look at the picture here. When sound is produced through the speaker, the air particles near to it are begin to vibrate. So blue color indicates the air molecules. Then, what are the rarefactions? The areas where the air particles are further apart, and compressions are the areas where particles are closer to each other. Sound waves produced due to the periodic movement of particles at regular intervals. So you have to remember that how sound waves produced, because due to the periodic movement of particles at regular intervals. These waves are longitudinal as they are traveling to the same direction. So remember that always sound waves are longitudinal and sound waves move outwards from the source of sound. So there is an important fact. Sound waves can bounce back and hit a flat surface hard, then the sound is repeated and echo occurs. Have you ever experienced echo? So, if you go to a region where there are many mountains, if you speak loud and see some minutes, you can hear your own sound after several times. That is because of the echo. That means your sound hit the surfaces of the mountains and come back to you. So that is the echo. So, sound waves in solid, liquid and gases. So, the sound waves transmitted through vibrations. When the particles are close to each other, what happens? Sound waves transmitted fast. So, from solid, liquid and gas, which particle have the particles which are close to each other? Solids. So, in solids, the particles are packed each other. So, that's why in the solid, sound passes at very high speeds. So, what happens inside our ear? So, for a day, we hear millions of sounds. So, from previous slides, we learned that we hear the sound because of the sound waves. So, we will look at what happens inside our ear. The outer ear receives the sound. Then what happens? Those waves transmitted from ear canal to eardrum. Then eardrum also begin to vibrate. Then what happens? Because of the vibrations, that sound waves, vibrations pass to the bones in the middle ear. Then due to that vibration, the liquid in the cochlea start to vibrate. When the liquid in the cochlea is vibrating, what happens? The hair cells in the cochlea also begin to vibrate. So, because of that, the cochlear nerve is stimulating. That nerve is stimulating because of that vibrations. Then finally what happened? Then that nerve sent a message to our brain. So, then brain is allowing us to hear the sounds. So, did you understand the process? How we hear a sound? So, remember this process. Then, this is an important thing. If we are constantly exposed to loud sound over a long period of time, what happens? Our hair cells can be damaged. So, that can cause to a hearing loss. That means, if you exposed to loud sound every day, gradually the hair cells inside your ears can be damaged. So, you have to keep aware about this thing. So, you have not to expose to loud sound over a long period of time. So, have you experienced this? When there are thunderstorms, when lightning, we can see the light before we hear the sound. So, after the light came, we can hear the sound. Why is that? Because the sound travels slower than the light. So, the speed of sound is slower than the speed of light. That's why we can see the light before we hear the sound. So, there is an equation to measure the speed of sound. So, this is the equation. Remember this. Speed equals distance divided by time. So, we will look at one example. Look at this question. Two pupils stood on both sides on the field at about 1020 meters apart. One pupil fired the race gun pistol. After 3 seconds, the other pupil can hear it. Calculate the speed of sound. So, first you have to write the equation. Speed equals distance divided by time. So, then the distance is 1020 meters and we have to divide it by 3 seconds. So, what is the answer? So, the speed is 340 meters per second. So I think you have understand how to apply that equations when we are doing calculations. So I think that you have gained a good knowledge about this lesson, transmission of sound. So we learn about how sound is produced, how does sound travel to our ears, we learned about sound waves, and we learn about sound waves in solids, liquid and gases, and we learn about what happens inside our ears, and finally we learn about how to calculate the speed of sound. So I think now you can complete the workbook activities. So try to complete them properly. Thank you.